Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to testify today, Madam Chair Vang. This is my first time testifying here in Minnesota. I am a recent transplant from Los Angeles. Just last week, though, I am officially a resident, and I received my Minnesota driver's license to the chagrin of my California folks. My name is Fran de Leon. I am the artistic director of Theater Mu. 33 years in operation. We are the largest Asian American theater in the Midwest, second in the nation. I was appointed artistic director in June of 2025 and thrilled to relocate here in the greater Minneapolis-St. Paul area that has a robust and vibrant theater community. My biggest concern was how I was going to adjust to the weather. But I took a lot of advice from locals. I armed myself with a full-length down coat, scarves, gloves, knit caps. I learned how to walk and shuffle leaning forward on the ice like Tim Conway from the Carol Burnett show. The climate I did not prepare for was a city to be occupied by ICE agents, the disappearing of our neighbors, the murders of American citizens, and the difficult decisions that I have had to face as an artistic leader. We have had to cancel school programs because children were afraid to go to school. On the weekend of January 23rd, Theater Mu was set to present our longest running program, the New Eyes Festival. We programmed 2 nights of a 10-minute play festival featuring the work of playwrights selected from a nationwide pool responding to the prompt, "What does freedom mean to you?" We also coupled that with a preview reading of our spring production coming up in April, entitled Hmong Futures by Katie Kavang. As the festival approached, it was announced that the Twin Cities would be observing the Day of Truth and Freedom on January 23rd, the first night of our readings. I had to question whether Theater Mu should participate in the strike and shut down. But after consulting with other artistic directors, with our funders, program officers, we came to the realization that Theater Mu was not a part of the problem, but part of the solution. We decided that we would go ahead with the festival, prepare well-planned emergency action procedures, and provide a space for the audience to commune afterwards. We had no agenda for these post-show gathering, other than to serve as a time for us to be in community in an environment that was warm, both in temperature and in heart. In spite of what we had been facing, after the readings delivered by some of the Twin Cities' treasured actors, the lobby was filled with smiles and hugs and even laughter. It was a wonderful respite from the intense amounts of cortisol that had been infiltrating our veins. It was exactly what we needed, but those feelings didn't last very long. The following morning, I received a text from our production manager. An observer was shot by Glam Doll Donuts. I'm shaking. The observer, of course, was Alex Pretti, and the light and joy and the relief that we all received the night before was unceremoniously snuffed out and replaced with grief and fear and frantically checking our contact sheets to see who of our staff lived in the area and were they safe. And thankfully they were, physically anyway. So despite the old theater adage of the show must go on, we made the difficult decision to cancel the rest of our programs. How could we, an Asian American theater company, put at risk our artists who walk the earth in skin that is vulnerable to raids and detentions? How could we, while agents knocked on doors asking, where are the Asians? Where are the Hmong? Call attention to a reading of a play called Hmong Futures? Despite the cancellations, all the actors, contractors, and venue rental fees were paid as agreed upon. We held a Zoom call with artists to check in, and while I must respect their privacy and not provide details, I can share my heartbreak in seeing these Asian American artists allowing their sentiments of damage and fracture bring them to tears, how broken and betrayed they felt in their own hometown. Not long after, we made another difficult decision to cancel our annual Lunar New Year fundraiser and all of our fundraising efforts in a fiscal year where Theater Mu is already experiencing a volatile financial environment with sunsetting grants, diminishing federal funding, and costs for production nearly doubled. Canceling a night of pledges and paddle raises was the farthest thing from a smart decision for our financial health. But with members of our Asian Minnesotan community sheltering at home, our staff delivering groceries and diapers and formula and making cash donations out of their own pockets for rental assistance, we could not in good conscience sell tickets for a dress-up event. We could not host Lunar New Year, which is a time that we are supposed to focus on family and good fortune, ask our supporters to gussy up and celebrate, and start the evening out by doling out instructions of what to do should ICE infiltrate the Hollywood theater. And we could not ask that they put themselves at risk to support the art of the beloved institution that is Theater Mu. Instead, we invited our supporters to focus their donations and support local immigrant-owned small businesses, give gifts of mutual aid, or sponsor families, or sponsor a meal for families in need. NPR featured our stories. Playbill wrote an article which is in your packet. We received emails of support, including one from someone in Moorhead who wrote, "The balance you are striking between commitments and emergency response is healthier and more responsible in long-term sustainability of community. Thank you for the example of strength and empathy that Theater Mu is setting." Time being of the essence for the full production of Hmong Futures, we went ahead with our auditions. One actor told us that it was the first time she'd been out to do anything, that she had been staying home for a month, that her cousin was detained, and that her sister had at one point been pulled from her car. Following those auditions, we received an email from another actor who wrote, "I've been struggling to feel in tune with myself and my art during the height of everything going on, as many have. And it was such a pleasure to come in tonight and tap back into what I love, especially at a place that I truly call home. Thank you for providing that space." And right here in the Capitol on Arts Advocacy Day, which Mr. Chairman McDonald, I was delighted to see you there and for you to declare that you too are an artist. We all agreed that art is essential. So now, almost 2 months later, we are feeling the pressure and the repercussions to our organization's already precarious financial health. As theater makers and people of color, we have always worked with the pressure of a proverbial thumb pushing us down, and yet we continue to exist. We thrive by knowing how to achieve multiple goals at once. As creatives, we know the power of collaboration. To that extent, we are collaborating and partnering to serve all of those who are affected by Operation Metro Surge. We will record a podcast at St. Paul Neighborhood Network to counteract beliefs that the operation did no harm. We will disseminate boots on the ground information to raise our voices beyond the Twin Cities. Episodes guests will include an artist activist on national stature, a local grassroots activist, and uplift a local business in a reverse form of the traditional podcast, where rather than have them pay us to be featured, we will pay them to promote their business. We are grateful for the rapid response assistance from the Jerome Foundation, Arts Midwest, the Women's Foundation, and the Wallace Foundation that will make that possible. We will host a ticketed event in a partnership with Urban Growler in St. Paul to bring them business and to solicit some income and donations for us. Artists will donate their time to perform, and attendees will be asked to bring food donations to be delivered to Keystone Community Food Shelf. I've been asked by friends and family back home, if I had known then what I know now, would I have turned down the position to lead an arts organization in this time and space? And my answer is a resounding no. Because despite the atrocities, what I have witnessed are Minnesotan solidarity, strength, and care for neighbors unlike anything I have ever seen. So I am proud to carry this license along with my passport in my purse every day. I feel privileged to be in community with those who reflect the true spirit of what it means to be a Minnesotan and an American. Thank you.